Alrighty guys, what is up? Back for another video. I just went out on the trail with the razor, but it was a little snowy up in the Red Mountain over there, so I came back down and I made it up to about 8,000 feet, but it got real snowy and deep snow, so even though it's blowing dry down here. So here's the trees. I wanted to make a quick video over here. So look at this. This was a batch of suckers, and all this was one. So this used to sucker, like by now, this thing would have been just absolutely crazy down here. Excuse me. My throat's still just getting over some nasty stuff. This here was just a sucker like all the rest of these. So you can see there, they're a lot smaller than this huge, large limb. But this one I forgot to cut because I used to just cut this back every year for cuttings. And I was like, well, let me save a cutting for later. I forgot to cut it. And I was like, well, let's just let it grow. Oh, there's a big spider there. Look at that one. See if I can get it to the macro there. Look at that one. But I thought, let's just see if I can let it grow. And that was 2 years ago. Well, beginning of 2 years ago. June of 23, and I did. The 2023 year, it grew from the ground all the way up to the top, but it was thin, very thin stem. And then last year, it thickened that stem extremely and grew all the side branches. This one is very vigorous. It was from a cut down tree, but look at it. Wow. It's well higher than me. Almost twice my height. Almost about 10 feet tall already. It's very healthy. So this one is really getting ready. And this was a bud I was looking at quite a bit. Let's see. It's an angled bud. Look at that. So they're trying to get up and grow towards the light. Pretty crazy. You'll notice these ones are blooming quite a bit more than the others, but let's take a look at the base of this one. See, I pinched a couple buds, but you still see the typical of what's coming out. Just little ones here and there, but yeah. So, pretty nice. This one's gonna start eating the buds, and the reason it's not suckering as much from the base is it's like, okay, I've got a growth now. I don't need to worry about that as much. It's still gonna a little bit, like especially right in here. See that? Little suckers. Right there. But that's not that bad, especially considering what we got going here. So that one's pretty nice. Let's take a look in here. Spruce trees, like I was covering last year, they're still going. This one over here died. I pulled it out. Completely died. It's already 73 degrees out. It's dead. So I pulled it out of the spot here. But that one never really grew anything anyway, like this one is. It's got quite a bit of grass growth down there, so soil's obviously feeding. This tree is got signs of stress, and it didn't grow like it typically does. And I'm not really noticing any buds either yet, so to keep an eye on that, but I'm not noticing them on any other spruces yet either. But this one here, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye. It's still green at the moment. Survived a season and did put on a little growth. We'll see what happens. This one here survived a few seasons now. It's looking pretty not good, but it did produce little bits of growth, so I have some hope for it. We'll see what happens with it. But over here, overall, we've got some little buds, little suckers coming up. Let all those go, see what happens. And we've got some birch-like clumps right here, so we'll let those see what they want to do, turn into a big bush. That'd be kind of cool. So they're slow growers though, not as vigorous, but they're growing. So we'll see what they'll do. I don't think they'll branch out yet. I mean, they might, because it's their second year, but I hope they just keep growing upward. This here was that other aspen tree that I was pointing out in the last year's video when I recorded this and all, but I had to cut it. It would have interfered too much with this tree here, which is standing pretty tall now after its issue. A lot of them branches, them limbs are growing upwards and kind of at an odd angle, but we'll just see what happens with it. And if eventually I've got to remove those two awkward side limbs and just let those two limbs grow that are growing right, that's what I'll do. As you can see there, because those will support the tree as it gets older. But for now, we're going to leave it all so it can photosynthesize. But you can see, it used to be just that tall where that node pops up right there, that little teeny one. And out of that shoots that large one. That's the taking over leader. So which is basically what I'm trying to do on this tree here. As you can see, right there with that leader. Let me get the focus there. No, I can't, but that's what I'm trying to get that one to do. You can see there, look at that, it's got some nice growth up that stem. And there it comes out of the base. So that one, the same thing, it got broke. So we're just gonna see what happens with those. But yeah, overall, look at that. Here's the trees in the area. So this one here, you can see it's healing quite a bit of its wounds, but those side growths are kind of going crazy, growing up. So that could cause some issues. We gotta keep in mind those 2 branches and maybe remove those in the near future. Once these 2 other ones get some height on them. Those 2 there are the good ones. But those other front two are really not good. Unless they can grow outward enough. You know, like some trees have some outward growing branches. So if that one can do that, that'd be good. But this here one, yeah, I had to cut it down. It would have competed. So I'll leave it as a cutting harvester. You can see there. There is some buds appearing on the stem. So it'll keep sending shoots. You kind of... It's a pretty boingly stem. But yeah, it should produce quite a bit of suckers. So we'll just see what happens with that one. But overall, that's mainly the things I wanted to show today. This one here, it's gonna start to grow. That single leader stem. The big aspen there, which is doing great. Lost all of its catkins and it's ready for growth. This one here, which is gonna be an amazing one to look at. And that one here, which is gonna hopefully put a lot of energy into that main stem. Let's take a look at a couple other trees in the area while we're at it. The other aspen right here. See, it is also in the same stage. Lost a little less catkin, so it's a little behind, but it's suckering quite a bit from cut points on the base. I accidentally tapped my phone, so I gotta manually focus now. But it's doing that from cut points on the base. But it's gonna grow at the top there as well, pretty nice. As you can see up there. Over here, we have our willow. Look at that. An amazing tree. Look at the buds. The yellow catkin still attached. Let's look at an easier one to see here. The yellow catkin still attached. See there, got a really nice color. It gives it that fall color. This is a white willow. We got bay willows over there. Let's see, this is annoying. We got bay willows over there. I don't know how I can get this thing to go back to normal. It annoys the crap out of me. Huh. But yeah, it's got that fall color. It's starting to green up a bit more now. But overall, it's still got that fall color. Amazing. Over here, let's take a look at the lilac. Just look at the growth on the ground here. Oh my God. Some of which have buds, like blooms on them. And then others of which just don't, but either way, are just normal growths. Like this one here is just a normal growth. Get that focus to take. See that? And over here you've got, you know, just look at the abundance of that sun, of just growth at the bottom. I want this to just kind of take over because the top is not looking great on either of these, but it is still producing. Let's see if we zoom in. Still producing a lot of buds, like the flower buds. But let's see. Sheds detected. Temperature rose above 102 degrees. Let's see if I can focus that. Yeah, pretty hot in the shed. Here is my little sucker of a tree. So if I can get a better view on that for you guys, it just came out of the ground. It'll create us another new lilac tree here because it's in a perfect spot. And it's its second year, and look at what it produced. Prolific buds. Flower buds there. Not only new growth buds, flower buds. So this one's looking really nice. It's gonna be a really nice one to come up. And so the tops of that one as well are doing the same. They're kind of flowering. Pretty nice. This one here is our northern ash. I did the prune on this tree back in March, the end of March. And this one is just starting. It's a late one. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Look at that. Just starting. I don't know if I can get any better view here. You can just see the buds pretty large and all the way up the tree. So this one is going to be a lot better that I actually pruned it because it's going to have some room to grow, some actual growing room. So that one will be nice. Either way, it is usually the least quick in growth. But either way, that's all the trees I've got to cover today. Those lilacs are really going to be cool because they're going to have blooms, little teeny ones there, and blooms at the base of the tree. That's going to be kind of cool to see. I've never seen that before. I thought they had to be so big, but those are only 2 years old. And yeah, there's the willow. It looks like it's fall. It's crazy. It's the craziest thing. Look at that. Either way, that's the trees. The aspens are absolutely the latest ones. They look like it's winter outside still. Look at that. It's just bare. But they'll fire up here when we get to June. Probably next week they'll be probably pretty green. So yeah, we will see you guys very soon over here. And in about 11 days for the yard over there. So there we go.